Hey guys, what's happening? This is Ryan with the Star Wars headquarters, and I hope you guys are all doing good. And the brand new update for Star Wars Battlefront 2 has finally arrived, which introduces the new progression system, the return of Bespin on Blast and Heroes vs. Villains maps, as well as Jetpack Cargo for a limited time. So that's right, you'll get to play Bespin on Jetpack Cargo, which I'm really excited about. And then a lot of changes to the heroes and classes are included in this update, as well as other major gameplay improvements. So this is going to be an extensive breakdown of patch 2.0 that was just released, and these notes were released by Sledgehammer70, who is the community manager. And since this might be Sledgehammer 70's last update for us, since he's moving on to a new career path, I do want to give him a huge thanks for everything he's done for the community, you know, all the hard work and sacrifice he has put in to the community, and I wish him well in his new endeavor. So with that said, guys, let's go over these new notes from patch 2.0, and as a reminder, we've already done an extensive breakdown of how the new progression system works, so if you've missed that, be sure to click on the link in the description for all the details on how the new progression system works. Okay, so let's first start off with a note from Sledgehammer70. So he said, along with all the changes, including the progression system, we've also unlocked all currently available heroes and hero ships for everyone. With all characters now having a unit level, we don't want to limit anyone's chance to progress as we change the way you interact with these characters. So that's pretty cool. So that means basically you'll have instant access to heroes and hero ships because they want you to experience the new progression system for all these heroes and hero ships. Now, he also said this, he said, we're also unlocking all star cards and weapons in arcade at epic card level so that arcade can be more freely used as a sandbox to try out new combinations. And this change also provides more gameplay options for players who aren't interested in playing multiplayer, end quote. So that's also exciting, especially for those of you who enjoy that single player arcade experience. And I'm very curious to see what more they're going to do with the arcade mode in the future. So we'll keep you updated on that, guys, so look forward to that. Now, on to the other updates, guys. We've already mentioned that Bespin is in this new update, of course. We've already mentioned that Bespin Jetpack Cargo will be available for a limited time. Now, for those of you who wanted indoors daylight setting, guess what? That has also been included in this patch as well. So they have reintroduced the daylight setting for indoor, which I'm very excited about. Indoor looks absolutely stunning during the day, so I cannot wait to see that myself. And then also they adjusted the frequency with which the alternative lighting appears on indoor, so you'll see that more often. There's more chance of getting that new daylight setting. Now let's go on to the heroes and the villains in the game, starting with Iden Versio. So according to DICE, they said that Iden was in need of a power increase. So they increased her base health from 550 to 650, and then they fixed an issue where the secondary fire module didn't appear on Iden's TL50. Now, the droid shield had increased active time from 10 to 12 seconds. Now, they also mentioned Iden's pulse cannon. They said this, they said, Iden's pulse cannon has been slightly reworked for this update. We improved it a bit for now, but we would like to rework this ability further in the future. It now fires faster, so to compensate, we reduced its base damage. The zoomed in, long range damage should feel rewarding, and we wanted to push the weapon's use in that direction. As a result, we've reduced the explosive damage but increased the weapon's accuracy to make it more of a skill weapon. Additionally, we've gone back to an earlier design idea where we wanted Iden to more freely swap between the TL50 and the pulse cannon, and this will make Iden feel a bit more versatile, end quote. So again, what this means, it appears they have basically nerfed the damage output of the pulse cannon, while making it more accurate, so it should feel more like a balanced weapon. Now on to her hot swap star card. They said this star card has been changed to give health to Iden when her droid stun hits enemies, and even more when it hits heroes. With the pulse cannon rework, the old version became obsolete, and we know that players want more hero star cards that regain health, and we will investigate adding more, but this felt like it was a good fit for Iden's droid, and we'll monitor the balance of this star card until the next update. So that's how that will work for Iden Versio. Now moving on to Boba Fett, they reduced the forward thrust speed of Boba's jetpack slightly to make it feel a little bit more balanced and a little bit more fair, and then also they increased Boba Fett's base health from 500 to 550, so he got a buff in that way. Now on to Leia Organa. So Leia's hair has been updated to match her outfit. This is something that a lot of you guys recognized right away when we did the progression system update. You noticed that her hair looked a little bit different, and so that's pretty cool. They also increased her maximum health regeneration from 150 to 200, and then decreased health regeneration delay from 5 to 4.5 seconds. So what they said in this is she is a very approachable character for a new player, and with that said, they'd like to push her more into a control the battle style of gameplay, and they decided to bump up her health regeneration to keep her base health on the same level as other blaster wielding heroes, as well as give her more of a chance to keep in the fight. So that's pretty cool to see that change to Leia. Now Han Solo had an increased base health from 600 to 650, and then they fixed an issue where Han Solo's detonite charge didn't explode mid-air, so that's pretty cool to see that. With Darth Vader, they fixed an issue where Darth Vader's punishing grip star card wasn't correctly applied, and then they fixed an issue where Darth Vader's saber throw ability could go through a wall on Takodana. So if you knew about that, you can't do that anymore. Now Emperor Palpatine had a fix where his lightning absorption star card didn't grant the correct amount of health after being used. So if you notice this, that's been fixed. Chewbacca's stun grenade can no longer be activated while other abilities are activating, so that's good to know. And then with Rey, while using Insight, a circle should not appear under Rey for other players when activated, so that's been fixed. And then the area effect for Yoda concerning his Unleash ability will now display properly when it's triggered, and then they fix an issue where Yoda didn't break out of immobilizing abilities when using Presence. And then now onto Finn, they fixed an issue where the UI marker for Finn's Deadeye ability would persist after the ability had ended. So if you notice that, that has been fixed, and then they also fixed an issue where weathering effects weren't working on Finn. So that's pretty important in terms of like if he's on Hoth, or I think there's some weathering effects on Crate as well, Yavin and so on, so that's pretty cool. Lando Calrissian had a fix where, you know, players were unable to spawn as Lando Calrissian if Han Solo was being played, so that issue has been fixed as well. Now moving on, we're going to look at classes, special units, and vehicles, starting off with the Assault class. So they fixed an issue where weapon cooling was not working correctly for weapon mods. And then onto the Officer, they also fixed an issue where increased cooling provided higher cooling reduction than intended. They tweaked the description of the homing shot to clarify that it can fire multiple rockets rather than just one. They also fixed an issue where weapon cooling was not working correctly for weapon mods. Now, the default pistol, they reduced its in damage from 20 to 17. And then with the SC-44C, they also did some changes to that weapon as well. I know many of you love to use this weapon, so they reduced the amount of shots that can be fired before overheating from 25 to 17. They reduced how many shots can be fired before overheating when increased cooling mod is equipped from 49 to 25, and then they reduced in damage distance from 40 to 30 meters. So the SC-44C has certainly seen a nerf in that regard. And then concerning officers' presence, they flattened the points given to an officer with officer's presence, regardless if the Aurora effect affects 1 or 19 allies. Also, a point payoff with officer's presence was stacking. So what this means is that an officer who is standing in a choke point could farm thousands of battle points without any effort. And to fix this, they removed this stacking rule from the officer's presence. So that's good news. And then with the turret now spots enemies when it acquires them and primes to fire. The spotted enemy is only visible to the officer who owns the turret. So it looks like the officer has been nerfed, especially with his SE-44C and presence abilities. So that's good news, I think, because the officer, I think he did need a nerf. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments. I know a lot of you guys play with the officer's SE-44C as well as the presence, of course, and then the turret. So let me know what you think. And for the specialist, they have basically buffed the thermal binoculars. They've added 25-point scoring event per enemy spotted, so that's good news. And they've also enabled spotting logic, improved thermal binoculars, increased the time an enemy is spotted, so that's pretty cool. Now, they also fixed an issue where weapon cooling was not working correctly for weapon mods, so that's been fixed as well for the specialist, so that's good news. Now, you're all probably wondering about the heavy as well with the DC-15LE. So they also fixed the issue where weapon cooling was not working correctly for weapon mods, so that exploding shot for the DC-15LE has been officially fixed with this update. We can all jump up and down for joy for that one, unless you were using it to your advantage and you're sad now, so we'll see. But they also fixed an issue for the heavy where it was possible to use the sentry ability in first person. I did see screenshots of this. I never managed to pull it off myself, so they did fix that. They fixed an issue where the sound could get stuck on the sentry ability, so they fixed that as well. Now, with the aerial reinforcements, they also fixed an issue where the improved rocket launcher star card did not reduce recharge as intended. They also fixed an animation issue that caused aerial units to incorrectly roll when dashing. I think I have experienced that a couple times, so that's good to see that that has been fixed. They've also updated the description of each of the aerial units to more clearly differentiate them from each other, so that's good news. Now, Enforcers had an issue where the Death Trooper wouldn't see a white outline on enemies that have been affected by their sonic imploder's blinding effect. So that has been fixed. So you'll definitely see an advantage when using that sonic imploder. They also fixed an issue where the explosion radius of the sonic imploder wasn't improved by the explosive expert star card. So that's good news. Now, at the ATST, they fixed an issue where the ATST's grenade launcher would fail to trigger after having been activated. And I did actually experience this a couple times when I was trying to use the grenade launcher. I just noticed it wouldn't fire, so that's good news that they fixed that as well. Now, we're going to go on to the game mode changes. There's quite a few when concerning the maps in the game, starting with Galactic Assault mode. So let's take a look at Takodana. So they reworked the defender spawns in Phase 2, moving them closer to the objectives, and then the price of the ATST on Takodana has been increased from 1,500 to 2,500 points. Now with Kashyyyk, they reworked the defender spawns in Phase 3, moving them closer to the objectives, and the LAAT respawn time has been increased to 30 seconds. And then they also did fix an issue where the MTT health would not display correctly and it would sometimes enter in an incorrect state. Now let's move on to the Death Star 2. Here they made phases 2 and 3 easier to defend and Phase 1 slightly easier for the attackers by adjusting spawn positions. Also with Tatooine, Phase 2 spawns for defenders have been adjusted for positioning and spread in an effort to increase safety directly after you've spawned, and attacker spawns in Phase 2 have been moved closer to the objectives to make it easier to attack, and then defender spawns in Phase 3 have been moved closer to the objective to make it easier to defend. Now they also introduced various visual quality improvements such as reduced LOD pop-in, sharper textures, improved lighting and materials, minor destructible content, and additional environmental detailing. So I'll have to look at that. I haven't really looked at that just yet, but I'm very curious to see, you know, if we'll notice these graphical changes. Also, they adjusted frequency with which the alternative light settings appear. So hopefully that means we see more of these light settings for Tatooine as we play Tatooine in Galactic Assault and other modes. Now, of Camino, they increased the price of the LAAT from 400 to 1,000, quite a big difference there. And then the LAAT respawn has been increased by 30 seconds. And with Jakku, they fixed an issue where players spawning into the ATST were occasionally spawned out of bounds. And then we'll move on to Blast Mode. So Blast Mode, they improved spawn zones for Blast on Starkiller Base. And that's pretty much all the changes for Blast Mode. Now this next update is for the Starfighters. It looks like Starfighter splash damage against troopers has been reduced by 50% to prevent excessive targeting of troopers. And then they also fixed an issue where the MVP screen would continuously shake. So that's very good news. If you're constantly being destroyed by the Starfighters, their splash damage has been reduced significantly, so that's very good news. And honestly, I was one of those guys that would get in the TIE Fighter on the Starkiller base and try to kill as many enemies as possible. I'll have to see if I can still do it, but we'll have to see. And finally, concerning general improvements and bug fixes, it looks like they've added pre-compilation of shaders on DirectX 12 to reduce stutter during gameplay. So you'll notice this in the loading screens when this process takes place. So you'll know it's happening as you play. So I'm hoping that fixes some stutter in the games, because surprisingly my twin bro Robbie has been experiencing some stutter in his game, so we'll have to see if that fixes his stutter. Now also they added Ansel support for NVIDIA graphics cards in arcade mode, which is awesome. Ansel of course is the new screenshot taking mode for NVIDIA graphics card, so I cannot wait to dive into that and take a look at that in arcade mode. But guys, there's the update. Let me know, what was your favorite part of the update? For me, obviously, hands down, it's first of all the progression update. I'm extremely excited about this. It's the foundation for Star Wars Battlefront 2 moving forward. And then I cannot forget about Bespin returning. And then they've introduced Jetpack Cargo again for a limited time for Bespin. So I'm excited about all this, guys. We'll be doing some live streams, talking with you guys some more, answering any questions you have. So look forward to that here at the Star Wars headquarters. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, and be sure to hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed it. But guys, I'll see you guys next time, and may the Force be with you always.